Hello, Facebook ads people. I'm Konstantinos, and this is the Facebook ads breaking news podcast. So, if you haven't watched the part A, you can see it. It's this video over here. Let's go and let's continue with part B of answering your questions from the vacation period. And I guess without any further ado, let's start. Okay, let's go to the next one. So next one, Konstantinos, have you ever heard about Facebook ad strategy called Micro Bank by Justin Wall? No. Basically, when you reach around 200 sales on your pixel, you create as many one to two lookalikes as possible. So from different ones, okay, from add to cart, initiate checkout, and launch them all at and launch them all at 1.5 to $5 budget per day. You will have a few hundred assets at least. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe this thing has worked in another account, okay? Maybe you should test it in order to see if it's going to work in your other account. But it doesn't mean that, and this guy, he's telling his truth, He's telling that, look, I have tested that, this is my method, it's working, I'm applying it to other. I'm saying that my truth about the crazy method, it's working for me. I don't know how he's going to. I'm talking about the crazy method, but I'm talking in a technical level. I'm talking about hot pockets, random discrimination results. I have a story behind it and some things that I have observed. Now, the 322, what kind of story does it have and how, except from observation, what is the technical way of thinking behind it? This one, 1.5 to $5 budget per day. Why? We have CBOs and advancements, we don't need that. The theory behind the strategy is that small budgets push Facebook to generate sales at a very high ROAS. I've tested it myself, you see, and it works pretty well. However, I don't think that the method is good for long-term scaling because Facebook will never exit a learning phase at $5 per budget day. So, from what I'm understanding, you are doing that when you have 200 sales. First of all, it's wrong in terms of 200 sales. If you are in the traveling niche, 200 sales are not enough to do lookalike audiences. That's what really irritates me. Just throwing numbers to make it easy for people. Why? Are you afraid? I'm sure that this person knows that. Okay. Why you're not explaining to people that this can be different from you and you and you if you have different niches? Do you know why? Because everybody is lazy, not Wolves, not Justin. The people that he's addressing to, they are lazy, and he tries to find a blueprint which is going to be very good and very nice so that everybody can follow, and he has to make it super approachable. So he throws numbers. 200. The same thing that I do by explaining how many assets you should put in a CBO. I don't consider this equation correct, but after 150 people asking me again and again how many assets, I had to find a way. But this thing creates this kind of situations that somebody who has a much broader niche might do it on 200 sales and not work. Maybe it's going to work on 500 or 1000 sales in their case because they have a broader niche. So that's the problem when you just throw numbers and you just don't explain to people how this is working. It should have been, okay, you can have sales between 200 and 800 depending on how big your niche is. Then I disagree with the theory of having very small spends. Okay, basically here it's not that the Facebook is going to push, it's not that the small budget will push Facebook for big ROAS. It's that after you create 50 ad sets, you're going to be lucky in 1 or 2 or 3 of them to get a sale, and you will have very big ROAS there. But this is not going to happen every day. Why? Because the budgets are daily. They are resetting every day. You're not going there in order to. It's like you're asking for a sale every day for $1. It's not going to happen. Even if it happens once by luck, it's not going to happen again. I don't find this sustainable. I don't find this scalable. Okay, I just don't like it, and I think that okay, even if it works, it's not sustainable in terms of producing sales unless if you're launching your ads all the time. I don't know. No, I don't like it. Technically, I don't like it. I explained why. However, I think it can be a good way to test new audiences. you're not testing new audiences, you're doing lookalikes. You mean to replace with new audiences stuff? No, it's not, because if you have a random sale with $1 or $5 in this case, it's not enough for you to move it in a crazy method or in another thing so that you can scale it more. The way to define if you have a good audience or not is to put it in a CBO and see if it can get also spent. It helps create a good base with decent amount of ad sets. You can later on move to higher budget CBOs. Would be interesting to know your thoughts because it's very different from what you teach in your videos. And here's my reply. Let's see how I replied. It is a good method for people to be amazed with it for a day or two. Zero potential and the rookie strategy, in my opinion, of inexperienced people that don't know and they want to be safe but not scale. The point is not to test an audience for 2, 3, 5, 8, 10, 20 USD. The point is to see if it works with big budgets and scales. This is not a good way of testing, in my opinion. The best testing is to test ads in real conditions, not with $5. Go for sales and test things while you do it. All this way of thinking comes from the era that people used ABO only cause Advanced Plus and CBO wasn't there. They are emotionally attached to the past and can go future of their mentors or their courses they have seen are outdated strategy wise. I'm a little bit more harsh over here. After the birth of CBO, when it actually became good after several months, I stopped testing like this, ABO small budgets, and moved to CBO testing while I get sales. Last note, I have seen a lot of agencies doing that small testing ABO for a month since because agencies want to follow blueprints. If they don't have as an owner a good Facebook ads expert, then the next month they use the working creatives and they don't work. Seen it several times. It doesn't mean that if it goes well on the small budget testing, it will go well on the real sales campaign. Try to follow people that create their own strategies. Whoever is still proposing ABO testing, either they don't run ads on their own or they are just left behind to a strategy that used to work. Imagine me staying on crazy method and talking bad about Advanced Plus. I don't. I do Advanced Plus on trained ad accounts and move crazy method to newer ad accounts that need it more. Anyway, I was a little bit more harsh, sorry for that. The things that I said earlier plus this completes this topic. I hope that I'm not going to start any beef with people. I don't want the drama, okay? Next one. I understand. I have seen that sometimes an interest with small budget generates incredible ROAS, but it won't be profitable when you scale it. So what would be the way of testing a completely new product? And let's say you want to test 8 to 10 different interests or interest categories. Would you put them all under one CBO and launch at a bigger budget, or should I do the crazy method for each audience separately? First CBO with all interests, then crazy method with the ones that work. What would be a good starting daily CBO budget for 8 and interest? Is 100 enough? Depends on the CPP, cost per purchase you get. Run some tests and then decide. Then I was thinking maybe have a similar approach to crazy method. So if I want to do 100 per day, my preferred cost per purchase is 20. Then 100 divided with 20 is equals to 5 audiences under one campaign. So 8 interest would be 106 per day CBO. This is CBO approach in general, not crazy method. Would you test new creatives with the crazy method? Let's say pick the best interest and launch crazy method CBO with 4 to 5 new creatives under each ad. No, only proven working stuff with the crazy method. Crazy method is a strategy which is all about scaling. It's not a strategy to test things. It's strategy to scale things that are working. I've just watched your video about running a dynamic creative campaign for testing new creatives. On what audience do you launch it, the best performing one, or have different interests within the CBO? On something that works, you can do that if you want to just test creatives, or you can do that while you put also different interests in the CBO so that you can continue testing. Thanks for all the answers. And then we go to another round of discussion with him. Hi Konstantinos, I've considered scaling one of my products to 3K pounds. Oh, this is the same? Perfect. Is it the same as before? No, it's another one. Hi Konstantinos, I've considered scaled one of my products to 3K pounds per day For the last 5 days, very profitable. Thanks to you and your videos. Thank you, my man. So at least all of these discussions that I'm having with him, they are working, okay? I'm mainly doing the crazy method and I have some more questions. When we are optimizing the ad sets on the crazy method, and let's say some ad sets have very low ROAS, but the whole campaign in general is very profitable, maybe the best option would be to not turn anything off, to not disturb the optimization. That's correct. We don't turn, we just check the average over there, and if it's working, we don't disturb it. Instead, just duplicate to a new campaign and scale it that way. I've noticed my ad post has caught the algorithm of negative comments and reactions. Every day I'm starting to get more negative comments and reactions to my post, but the ad spend is the same. So far I haven't noticed any decrease in sales and profits, but do you think it can have a negative effect in the long term? If it has a negative effect, you're going to see it. If it doesn't, don't care about the comments, just keep scaling. No, don't scale. Keep it as it is. Just keep having it. And don't worry about the negative comments. Yes, about the first, you can only about the average ROAS. Keep the balance, don't disturb it. This is a main reason that some people never scale. They don't get how important it is the average results in the campaign level, but also in the ad account level. Yeah, because when you scale, you also want to keep average results in your CPOs and Advanced Plus, but you also need to keep average results in your total campaigns. Okay, so if you have 20 campaigns and one of them has 1.3 ROAS and the others they have 3 ROAS, this doesn't mean that you need to go and close the 1.3 ROAS just to improve it. If your average results are good, you're just going to leave it. You can even keep back campaigns if the average is okay. Well, not super bad ones that hurt a lot your average or main spend campaign being below your ROAS goal, but a mediocre result one, you can keep it. Hope it makes sense. About the bad comments, keep monitoring, and as long as ROAS is there, just laugh on the face of the haters. Only thing I would watch is not to scale it, and of course watch the page score every week to see if it will decrease. That's all. And then it says, got it. Yes, I was thinking I'm happy with the ROAS, just leave it as it is. I'm at around break even or a slight loss, then I might try optimize the campaign and try to make it profitable. So I assume around 1k daily spend is not considered huge scaling. It's not. No, it's not considered huge scaling. Next one. Depends on the period. If on average on the other account you are doing well, don't touch them. If you are losing ROAS based on each account experience also, you have several AdSense in a campaign with sales and close to break-even ROAS, you can go to close 1 or 2, lower the budget if needed and see if it will improve. Don't forget that when you do many campaigns, the game is not only played in each CBO individually, but it becomes an ad account game with the many campaigns you have to control and keep average results. 1k per day spend is not a lot, but also depends on the country, I guess. Going from 30k per month spend to 60k is fairly easy if the ad account and the ads are working. Getting from 100k to 200k is another level, and I hope that one day you will be trained enough to have 500 to 1 million per month accounts like the ones that I do have. Next one, I understand, thank you. 1 month spent right now seems out of this world, but one day hopefully I'll be there. It's not so difficult as you might imagine. So instead of having campaigns of 1k each, you're just having campaigns of 10k each. Okay, it's not so difficult if you think of it. If you have 30k spent per day, you can have 900k spent. That can be done with 6 campaigns of 5k each. 5k each Advanced Plus campaigns are not so difficult to maintain if you have 30 or 40. Of course, we're talking about ad accounts that they have the capacity of doing it. You have companies that they can do it. But if you think of it, you just, instead of having a $300 campaign, you have a 3k campaign. It's not so so difficult to happen as you might think. About the page score, do ad post reaction comments have an impact on it? I always thought it only calculated from the data of the surveys that customers get from Facebook after making a purchase. No, it doesn't have only the surveys that Facebook sends to people that bought. Since you have negative comments, there's no harm in monitoring it. Next one, That's good to hear. As I was really concerned about it for a moment, the feedback for real customers is great, so I will just hide the random comments as it is mostly people that didn't buy. Thank you for your time. Have a great evening. Okay, that's the thing. Let's go to the next one. Hey, Constantine, just to be clear, at the end of the day, if it's a trained pixel, we would be creating multiple advanced plus campaigns up to 8 limits per ad account, and then we'd try crazy method with stacked lookalikes and crazy method with broad targeting, right? Am I missing something? If it's a trained pixel and you are getting good results. No, you're not missing something. In the new videos that I will make with the case studies, you will see exactly this structure. When I reached the 8 advanced plus limit, I started doing crazy method stack lookalikes and sometimes broad. Next one. Hey Konstantinos, would love to get your input on this problem, as you seem to really know a lot about handle new accounts and pixels. New accounts with a new pixel been running ads for around 2 weeks on this account with 25 sales in total on the pixel. I cannot get any stability. Broad is working best. Broad is working and you cannot get any stability. Okay. Interest targeting hasn't been good. Break-even CPA is 50. I use ABO. That's why. You should not use ABO. You should use CBO. 50 daily budget per ad set usually goes like this. Day 1, you get 4 sales or something. 0 next day. 1 in the next day. This is not stability, man. You cannot get stability, exactly. It's not always like that, but most of the time starts off good, then fails quickly, like everything. We discussed the reasons. The link CTR is always good, 3 to 4%, and ad gets likes and comments. The product type is one that I know sells extremely well with other much more established accounts. I'm struggling to get some foundations that I've been built on. For context, it's a health-related device, Facebook compliant, aiming to at 50 plus in the US. I tried the launching method a few times. It worked once, then didn't work twice. But I don't know if I'm cutting off the ad too soon. Maybe you do it too soon. Maybe after a couple of days it will work. Who knows? Any suggestions? Sometimes I think I should maybe just let it run for 7 days and not touch it and see how it averages out over the week. Most of the times in new ad accounts, you should not wait 7 days. It's a little bit of waste of money, just to be honest with you. I say, look, stability is a typical problem on new ad accounts. You keep testing and do relaunches. 2 consistent days with 0 results for a new campaign mean relaunch. If the campaign worked for a longer period, you can leave it a bit more. For example, if you have a campaign working for 30 days, and then you see 2 days without results, you can leave it for the third and fourth day, okay? Because it's a campaign that was working for a longer period. But if we talk about new campaigns, after 2 days you have to relaunch. Check and test everything. If something works, relaunch and so on until you find stability. It can take months. Be patient and strict. Then he says "Ευχαριστώ" in my language, which means thank you. I will do that. That's a great rule to have. 0 results every 2 days. Relaunch and see how it does. Thanks for the input. You're the only guy on here who shares real insights on really new accounts. I'm trying. Next one. Let's go to next one. Okay. I've been following you for a couple of months, and thanks for the great content. I have never seen any of his comments, so it's a first comment. In this video, I see that the ROAS is decreasing every month. That's a very interesting topic. Perfect. In this video, I see that the ROAS is decreasing every month as you scale, so profit is decreasing too. So why not say a budget that generates the highest ROAS? Also thinking of purchasing your book, but it's still valid with the changes we're seeing with the ads. The book is not there for being updated. The book is there for a mindset, okay? So if you want to buy the book, by the way, the book is free for Kindle Unlimited, so you don't have to buy it. It's there for a mindset. The same thing happens with the course. It's for a mindset. It's not about being super updated all the time. It's about talking about technical things that they will help you find your own strategies along with you testing my strategies. Hi, super valid question. What will happen on the account is always decided after talking with the client. There are different approaches, and this is totally true. There are people that say that they need growth and people that they want profit. It depends on the client and the business. Some will say that want 10k spend and 50 ROAS, and some 400k spend and 2 ROAS. There are people that might see another account spending 20k with 20 ROAS and they would be amazed. They will call you stupid for not spending more because they can see that the growth, the new clients and the potential that you can have and you miss. For your info, scaling doesn't mean losses. You might hit 5 ROAS on lower spend and your break even is 2. This means that you need to scale. Now, and then I say, forgot to mention that in September I will make a video with 2 one-year case studies. Prepare to see some big changes. I scaled a lot because I'm about to enter the warm-up period before Black Friday. Then he says, thank you so much for your thorough input. They make sense and I look forward to checking out your book as well. I'll keep an eye out for September video for the Black Friday. Except these videos at the end of September. These are the case studies of ad accounts that I scaled for 1 year case study. So basically, this is something that I have seen between owners. There are a lot of times owners that they say that, hey, I want profitability. And there are others that they say, hey, I want volume. It's completely different. Let me explain. So people that they have businesses that they just want to go for profits, totally fine, right? I'm not accusing anyone of not being professional or not understanding. It's totally fine, but you cannot just scale and having the same ROAS that you have or even increase ROAS. These things are not happening. On the other hand, you have people that they have investors and stuff, and investors want to see growth, and they understand the repeated customers. They have different models. For example, if you have a subscription model company and you keep scaling, you're getting more subscribers, and if the retention rate is 4, 5, 6, 7 months, then you know that all of these people that you're getting, they're going to increase your revenue every single month. There are other businesses that they have products that they have repeated customers. There are other businesses that they want to actually scale and have bigger numbers because they want to do an exit. There are several cases, and there are people that they just want profitability, so they want to maintain ROAS with specific spends. I have seen, and I mentioned also in the comment, there was one other account that I was having, I believe, 10 ROAS at that point because I wasn't spending a lot of money. I just had started, and then I entered with another owner that I was doing a call at that point for his account, and I just accidentally go there, and he says, "What the are they doing here? Why they're not spending more money?" And he was like amazed, and he was saying, "Why they're not spending more money? They're losing money over here. Why?" And this person was just telling to me, as long as we are above our break even, just keep spending as much as you can. There are completely different strategies to people and how they behave to their businesses and how they see their models and stuff. And this person was telling me they're losing money. What's the point of spending 10k and having 10 ROAS while you can spend 100k and have 5 ROAS, for example, 3 ROAS? Okay, still they're going to make more money. Anyway, that's so that we can clear this out. And it's not up to me, you know, I'm just following orders. And if somebody is asking something crazy, I'll just tell them that I cannot do it and they can move with someone else. But the people that they are super successful, they are the ones that they are working with a little bit of profit above their break even. Hey Konstantinos, I found your page 2 weeks ago after doing a paid course on ads that didn't really help me. That didn't really get me results over 6 months period. Since finding your page, I have already noticed a big difference implementing your methods. Thank you so much. Thank you. I will be purchasing your course or reaching out for help to scale once we have a bit more budget to accommodate this. I would also love to see some examples of what a trained pixel behaviors look like if it's possible. We have had results on our ad account before through an agency, but nothing good since the iOS update, so I'm assuming our pixel needs retraining. There is no such thing as retraining the pixel, but don't know at what point I can call it trained. Also, do you only add new creatives every 15 days? Any info on this would be extremely helpful, and thank you so much for your time and dedication to this. So basically, about creatives, it's up to how fast you want to scale or what you want to do, or if they are working or not. Maybe you can do creatives every 1 month, every 2 months if things are working and you are having the results that you want and you don't want to scale. But when it comes to over here to talking about when Pixel is trained, it's purely based on behavior, based on the things that I said earlier. And also I have a video which I'm showing consistency of results after the Pixel is trained and stuff, and then you have to try to do lookalikes and they're working, broad targeting is working. This is how you understand if a pixel is trained or not, by the behavior that it's actually showing. So let's go to the next question. Hey Consta, do you ever suggest a ratio of spend to existing customers in Advantage Plus setting? He's referring to the setting that we do have inside that says that you can actually in which percentage of your customers you should advertise or not. So I have played several times with it, sometimes 10%, 20%. It's not available in all Advantage Plus campaigns, but I must tell you that, to be honest with you, I haven't found any significant number. There are some other accounts that for some reason they're working better with 10 or 20%. Some other accounts are working better without any limitation to it. So in my opinion, this is something that you have to test and to see what is working better for you or not. I just don't like solutions like that they say that you need to always find new customers with Facebook and stuff. I do believe that this is a wrong way of thinking about Facebook ads, which is all about repeated customers. And even if the repeated customers are being stolen from Facebook Pixel or API to report as a sale, they are going to help you to get more sales at the end of the day, because this is also data. Next question here says, do you still use this? And he's referring to manual bidding. I use it rarely. It doesn't work a lot. It's not something that you can use in a daily basis in order to be able to scale accounts and stuff. To be honest with you, this is something that you will have to test in another account and see if it's working or not. If it doesn't work, it's fine. Just do something else, but it's always going to be something on the side, okay, which is either helping you scale a lot or it's just an extra thing. Don't just you can play with manual bidding, they're fascinating, but don't expect it to work and save your ad account. Next question, we go here. It says, hi, how can I use two winning ad IDs with this strategy? Can I create a CBO with 6 ad sets with one of my winning interests that include these 2 ads? I would like to give up the reactions and comments. If you don't want to give up reactions and comments, you need to find the post IDs and use this into ads. I have them. My question is if I can use them with a crazy method. I will then have 1-on-2 instead of 1-1-1 creative ad. And I tell him 100%. Even run up 5 ads per ad set. For example, you can run 5 different ads per ad set with a crazy method, broad targeting or stacked lookalikes, and have 5 different post IDs. Okay, thank you. I will test that strategy. I still have the best results with interest, even after 100 tracked sales. These are not a lot of sales. I wasted a lot of money with broad. It is always the same. The broad campaigns start good with 5-8% conversion rate that slows down to 0%. We explained why this is happening, and the reason is that your pixel is not ready yet. Friends say I should use lookalikes, but I think that 100 sales is not enough for this. I will stick with interest to get more data. Q4 will help me in the next month. Correct. Okay, you will get more data and then you can go to lookalikes and stuff. I find your way of thinking healthy. 100 sales are not that many. Stick to interest, try to get more with crazy method, and then go to stack lookalikes crazy method. Focus on that. Focus a lot to CBO optimization. It's not an easy method. You need to understand how to optimize CBO. After that, I would say jump even to crazy method broad targeting, and you should be fine. Next questions again with our favorite guy here. Konstantinos, are you more concerned about CTR, CPC, or none of these two? I am noticing 2 campaigns have similar CPC, but one has CTR of 2%, another 7%, because it also has higher CPM. So I assume the audience with higher CTR is more targeting than the previous one. I've also noticed that my CPC is increasing as I scale, but the conversion rate is also growing, so maybe neither CPC or CTR is relevant at this stage. I write none. I watch these none. I watch these on the first 24 hours only. I'm ROAS and cost per purchase focused. After some point, the ad will form a hot pocket and cost per click might rise because you get better quality targeting. It makes sense, right? If and this is why I'm watching also the cost per click and not just cost per click, cost per unique click and cost and unique CTR only for the first 24 hours, just to define if an ad is super bad. The reason why I'm doing that is because I have seen that when you have some good results after some point, then the ad is optimizing and it's not so easy for it to find sales. So maybe the cost per click is going to increase, but the ROAS is going to stay the same, which is very important because it's much more difficult for it to find sales. And this is what I explained here. This doesn't mean that the ROAS will drop. They might even do better. Imagine being in the middle of square selling cigarettes. I give an example. Imagine being in the middle of a square selling cigarettes when you get more traffic to your stand, but the people who smoke are scattered and there are small children around you, pregnant women. So you get my point. Now imagine finding a hot pocket outside of a club in the corner. At least in Greece, when you go to the club, most of them you smoke if you're young. Now imagine finding a hot pocket outside of a club in the same square, but you go in the corner next to the club. Suddenly you get less traffic to the stand since you are not in the middle of the square where everybody walks, but more people want to buy cigarettes before entering the club since most that go there are young people and they want to party and smoke inside the club. That's a stupid small example to explain it better. So what I'm trying to say is this. If you think of it, if you are in the middle of a square, you're getting all the traffic, okay? Because everybody passes by the middle of the square to go to the stand. So you have a stand that you are selling cigarettes. But of course, there are some people that they come and buy cigarettes from you, but they are scattered among all the other people. Now, if you find the spot, which is the optimization that is happening here with the hot pocket. If you find a hot pocket in the square that more people that they are interested in buying cigarettes are coming, there are going to be less traffic into your ad in terms of people coming, which is the clicks in that case, but you're going to have more conversions, which means we are going to have better ROAS. So in the previous case, you were in the middle and okay, you found some people. These people told you that, hey, go to the corner on the club because this is the hot pocket that is being formed from them. So you go there and then you have much more expensive click, but you are having better conversion and better ROAS because more people are converting in reality. Basically, the CTR is actually increasing also. Next one. Thank you. I've launched the wide open crazy method in the UK, 50 million audience at 100 daily budget with 5 assets. I'm very profitable so far. How would you personally scale this? Duplicate to a higher budget and more assets, or maybe just edit the budget at midnight with the same number of assets? Am I pretty happy with the average cost per purchase? Try CBO campaign with more assets or same assets, but $200 this time. You need to start doing bigger CBO campaigns, then go to 400, 800 eventually. See how many assets you need for that, if your account can support it, and so on based on your experience so far. The truth is that when you are having ad accounts that you are scaling, after some point you need to see if your ad account is going to support bigger budget campaigns. Because you might have very good results with $100, $200, $300 campaigns, but when you're doing $400 or $500 campaigns, you see that nothing is working. This is because your ad account is not used to this kind of budget campaigns. So you need to start trying, and eventually they're going to work, then another thing is going to work. Most of the times, the fastest way for them to work is to have a very good, exceptionally good campaign at 200 and scale it to 400 with the ways that we said that you should scale it earlier also in this podcast. Then it says, that's exactly what I will do. And are you concerned about the ad relevance score? One of my ads started at bottom 35% of ads and now it says average. As long as it's profitable, keep going. Got it. You also mentioned something about whatever budget your ad account is able to support. I explained it just 1 minute ago. So let's say I reach a certain threshold, which is for example 2K per day, and I cannot scale past that. Should I then consider switching to an agency ad account? Hello, this is Total BS. Use assets you control 100%. Use attack periods like Black Friday and be patient. But the most important, be ready to scale when you will get the signal that you can from your results. Thank you for your answers. So the thing here is this that I want to address based on what we said here. A lot of times you are scaling ad accounts and you're seeing that Facebook is starting giving you lesser results the more you scale. So there is a balance between the amount of money that Facebook is willing to let you spend and being profitable, and after that is giving you worse results. Why? Because Facebook wants that. Facebook wants to see what are your limits. If you're spending 2K and you are getting X amount of results and you are happy and you continue spending and you spend more, that means that you accept the situation. If you do that, well, that's your fault. So Facebook takes the message that this person is not happy with 2 ROAS. For example, he's happy with 1.8. So be careful of what you're doing also into your ad accounts, because you are forming behaviors that you might have difficulties later on to fix. So that being said, keep in your mind also that a lot of times we talk about agency accounts and that they will help you. No, it has nothing to do. If an ad account is an old ad account and it has a lot of spend, okay, without any rejections and stuff, okay, you're getting another account which is having supposedly better quality traffic, but this doesn't mean that this is going to help you with your ads to scale or whatever. And also, I truly believe that you should control 100% your assets, and you can you trust an agency that tells you that this is an old ad account and stuff, even if they show you stats? Do you know if it ever got banned? You don't know this kind of stuff. So I wouldn't do it in any way. I would try to see my thresholds, how much I'm spending, and then I will try to use periods that Facebook is giving me the signal that I can scale more. I will scale more on that period. I will not look back. I will just scale as much as I can, then hold it back, and then try to just play this cat and mouse game until I reach the point that I want to be spending, which is always going to be a battle between me and Facebook, trying to always scale more and as much as I can. Next question. And of course, you have Black Friday period, which is helping a lot to that, because you can spend profitably very big amounts of money. For example, going from 100K to 300K spend, and then settle down to 200K in the next period until you are able to scale again to 300K, for example. Next one. Hello, Konstantinos. I started the CBO for lead generation with your crazy method. 100 per day, 5 assets with 2 creatives, age 45, 65 plus, in a zone with around 1.2 million people, 35-mile radius from Madrid, capital of Spain, but I don't get great results, and I'm afraid that the cost of 1,000 views kind of skyrocketed from around 7 to 8 on 100 on these first hours. So you are not criticizing the results based on 24 or 48 hours, so you're just seeing the first hours. Should I wait a couple of days or just try with just one ad set, or just expand the age rate? Now, you are running a crazy method. First of all, because it's my method, it doesn't mean that it's always going to work, okay? But this is a local area, and you're talking about a local area of 1.2 million people. You don't have the option of lookalikes, you don't have the option of interest, you don't have these options. The only options that you have is either doing one ad set or doing the crazy method here, trying to see if you can penetrate the market. Now, if your offer is good, if your creative is good, there is no way that the crazy method cannot work in 1.2 million audience. If your audience is bigger in terms of age, increasing it and make it broader is going to help. But for sure, I would look more about my creatives, my cost per clicks, all of this kind of stuff, to see if my creatives is the problem. If this is something, for example, that is working with one ad set, and this is why I'm always mentioning that the crazy method is all about scaling something that is working. So if you have seen one ad set working, then you can take it to crazy method. But if you're just trying immediately the crazy method just to make something work, it doesn't mean that it's going to work. So just try maybe with one ad set, try different creatives, different landing pages and stuff. When you start getting results, then use the crazy method in order to scale that. Also, don't evaluate your results based on just 5 hours, okay, or 12 hours. Just evaluate based on 1 or 2 days. If you're not getting results, again, the crazy method is not there for an initiation method. It's a method for scaling. Next one. What interest would you use in a Facebook ad account for the Christian niche to train the pixel? There are no interests for the Christian niche. that you can use, because all of them, they have been removed. I'm getting old. This year or the previous year? I don't remember if it was this year that they got removed. The previous? It's already been 1 year? Okay, so it's my video editor tells me that it's the previous year. Wow, it's been 1 year. I remember yesterday the day that this happened. Okay, so the previous year we had, yeah, you are right. The previous year we had the removal of this interest for Facebook wanted to make just clear out about, personal preferences and all of that, and they said that they didn't want to discriminate people and all of that. So along with a lot of LGBTQRW, I don't know how many there are, a lot of these interests have been removed, a lot of interest for the Christianists. I think they removed also some other interests about personal preferences and stuff like that. So yeah, you don't have anything. If you just start a brand in the Christianism and you just want to target, I would go with very general interests, just trying to penetrate the market with something that is going to work. Things like influencers that they are Christians, for example, Justin Bieber, Kanye West, people that they have been expressing that they believe and all of that, and maybe some of their core audience is also inside the niche, trying to do this kind of things, these general big interests, until you reach the point that you are going to reach and be able to do lookalike audiences. Next one. Konstantinos, after the dynamic creative test, how do you continue scaling that campaign? Do you take the best performing variation of dynamic creative only, or increase the budget of the whole creative if it's over profitable? A lot of times, to be honest with you, I don't do it out of laziness. I do it out of the fact that, look, in the way that I have the 10 creatives inside and 5 copies and 5 headlines, it worked. So if I take it, the best creative combination, again, is going to work. So maybe I'm not even going to isolate them. But I had viewers in this channel that they came to me and they told me that, look, in lower budgets, we started with 10 creatives, then we took the best 3 along with the copies and stuff, and we had with smaller budgets, less creatives inside, and we ran it and it went better. It makes total sense because it has less combination to make. Maybe this explains 3 to 2 after all. It has less combinations to make. But my argument with 3 to 2 is why it's not 3-3-3, for example. But anyway, let me not start again with that. It's less combinations. You have something that is working, so you're focusing on other things. So you have done your testing with dynamic creative and you move it like this. For me, both things are acceptable. Of course, when you play with higher budgets, taking just the good ones to a dynamic creative, which is going to have only the good ones, it's not going to change anything because you have big budget and it's going to test it efficiently, especially at the start. And if scaling the whole dynamic creative, would you edit the budget, duplicate, maybe even do crazy method with dynamic creative? You can do crazy method as a second campaign and scale it. I told you that you would scale a CBO campaign that is doing very well only if 8 out of the 10 ad sets inside are working very well in the CBO, then you can increase it horizontally. Yeah, that's the thing that I would do. Let's go to the next. Then we have Robin here. Hi, great work as always, thank you. I just wanted to ask about duplicating the ads as hot pockets into a new ad set in a new campaign. Okay, were you specifically meaning not CBO to maintain the ads hot pocket, and were finding doing this with just 1 or 2 sales early was working? I asked this in Facebook group, though deleted it because I'm a chicken. Probably deleted this. This guy deleted this comment also. But I'm going to expose him and I'm going to answer to him because, if you delete a comment, I can do nothing about it. But since I found it here, maybe you're watching this podcast and your question is not actually bad. So I don't know why you deleted it. I didn't catch it up on the group, but I do get emails with your comments, so I could find it there. Sorry if I'm violating your right to delete the comment and I'm saying it again, but if you're hesitant of putting a comment because you will think that somebody will think that you're stupid or whatever, it's not the case, and this is why I'm just saying that. But I'm going to hide your name, okay? So I'm going to hide your whole name so that it's not going to be an issue, but I'm going to put the question. So it says, hi, great, well, I just want to ask about duplicating the ads as hot pockets into a new adset. By the way, the hot pockets are being formed, and by the way, don't forget that there are no stupid questions. There are just questions that haven't been asked. Okay, there is no such thing as a stupid question. We can all learn. If there were stupid questions, I wouldn't do this podcast. Okay. Okay, sometimes I can be a little bit judgmental more, but it's the spice, just to tease you a little bit of that, so that you can remind it better. You remember it better. So the hot pockets are being formed after we have a sale, okay? So we form a hot pocket. You're not duplicating the hot pocket into an ad set. Were you specifically meaning not CBO to maintain the ads hot pocket, and we're finding doing this with just 1 or 2 sales early was working? I asked this in the Facebook group, delete it, okay, probably delete this as well. I guess I'm just asking how you were making it work flawlessly, as I could really understand, and I have 2 ad sets now with 1 sale each, 3 different pictures on each ad set, and 1 sale from 2 different pictures that suit that interest. It's 20 USA ad set, if you're curious, not the CBO. Well, first of all, you have some hot pockets, but they're just not being big enough, so you cannot criticize them if they're working or not. In your case, what I would do is I would do dynamic ads, I would do CBO, I would try to see if I can form hot pockets like this so that they can be concentrated. That being said, when you duplicate an ad, you don't take the hot pocket with you. Whenever it has a sale or a second sale, third sale, it just forms a hot pocket then. I hope that this replies, and please don't be afraid of asking questions. If you want, ask. I'm trying to answer everything. At least, by the way, we hit 10,000 subscribers. Congrats on us. And I'm trying to keep up with your comments and stuff. As long as I'm here and I'm doing it, exploit it, guys, because maybe later, if it's going to be too many, I'm going to just pick which ones I'm going to answer. Right now I'm answering everything. Then I have a comment here. It says, I need help with Facebook policy. By the way, why did I put that? We had several rejections of ads across ad accounts, and this is an issue according to customer support that a lot of ad accounts are having with rejections. And the reason is that Facebook it's flagging them for no reason. And here we have, it says that we cannot run before and after ad campaign for skincare or any other product. However, I have noticed that some people are running ads with before and after for a long time. I'm curious to know how this is possible. Am I missing something? Yes, you are missing something basically here. The thing that you are missing is that there are other accounts that they have such a big history of data and stuff that they are considered good advertisers, and they don't have very strong checking on their ads. So if you have another account which is old, which is having old, you have 0 rejections, maybe you are going to be able to pass some ads that they don't, that they are before and after, and it's happening only on older accounts. If your other account is new, you are getting more. They are trying to research about your ads more, and you go under review in a more complex way. So these are all ad accounts that they are having that, and or maybe very old ads that they are still staying there, stuff like that. Sometimes you can trick the algorithm with the creative and stuff, but as long as it gets you, then it's going to start rejecting more and more and more and more of the things that you're doing. So that's my answer to this, just so you know how it's possible. Yeah. Next one. And by the way, for those that you are wondering about before and after and what's the issue, you can blame all the weight loss companies. for showing and just showing again and again and again fat people and then becoming thin and promising this kind of stuff. As long as my father is concerned, he has the strong belief, because he's also fat like me, that this is impossible, and they just hire people that they are thin, they give them a lot of food and they are becoming fat, and then they're presenting the photographs in the opposite way. This is the biggest conspiracy theory that my father believes about these before and after pictures of weight loss companies. Next one. It says, please, have you seriously considered comedy? You're so funny. I hope that you're not watching the channel because you want to laugh, but for the technical stuff. Thank you so much for all the knowledge and humor you give to us. I just subscribed. Thank you very much. I'm trying to do it in a fun way, so that it can be fun for me and for you. I hope that you like my humor and stuff. Next one, we have Tony. Hey Konstantinos, thank you so much for all this free content that you are posting. Of course. One question. We're currently running a campaign Advance Plus 20 euros. I don't like to see Advance Plus with such small budgets. And it's only giving us like one conversion per day, and you should be happy that you are even getting that. Weird thing is that the conversions are always in the morning, all before 10, 11 a.m., and then rest of the day, nothing. Do you have any idea how we can overcome this? Feels like the algorithm is stuck and only finds good traffic in the morning. If it's profitable, why do you care if you get the sale in the morning? I don't know. If it's not profitable and you just want another sale, maybe you should try to increase your budget. But first of all, I don't like running advanced loss campaigns with such small budgets. I know that even in my country, which has small potential reach, I talk with people like George, that they do run these small advanced plus campaigns because this is the budget that they have from their clients. They can do nothing about it. The problem is that an advanced plus campaign which is running like this is a little bit limited. Now, if you're getting sales in the morning, okay, one behavior that I have seen is that, for example, when you run ads and Facebook gets some good results, and you cannot see this behavior within Facebook, you see it when you have access to the Shopify account, for example. You see all the Shopify accounts, they have this thing doing that, which here is the prime hours. For example, they just do this. So if you're getting sales in the morning, I have seen other accounts that they were giving sales in specific hours of the day. Maybe the algorithm it was optimizing in the hours that it was getting the best results, or the hot pocket is buying in this hour of the day, something like that. But first of all, if it's working, why do you care of getting sales on the other hours of the day? If you're not getting enough sales for the budget that you have, try to increase your budget in order to see if you will get more. And by that, what do I mean? That it's better if you get with $30 2 sales instead of getting one sale with 20. Okay, so I think that this is the next thing that you should do. Try to expand a little bit the budget, because it's also a little bit limited during the day in the way that it's being scattered. Okay, 2 more pages. So let's go to the next one. Konstantinos, would you add new creatives to an already active CBO, or would you launch a new one? You cannot add new creatives to a working CBO. I have a video about that topic. The reason is that the CBO has already decided where to spend the money. The same goes for an Advanced Plus, and you should not just put something new there, because it's not going to be tested efficiently. So if you have $500 budget and the $400 are being spent in 3-4 ad sets, not just because you put another ad set magically the CBO is going to start spending on the new one. So it doesn't make any sense. You don't test efficiently something like this. Next one. Is Advanced Plus worth a try? Of course it does. It's working very well. I have 130 tracked sales. I think that before this person wrote, and he had 100 sales. So in a period of time between comments, he has 130 now. Good for you. Someone tracked more, but probably captured by copy. I have been able to see more consistent results over the last few weeks through interesting targeting. Unfortunately, I'm still missing profitability. I also tried an LLA, CBO 3%, 5%, 10% on Germany, which 10% performed the best. Of course it does. 10% is performing better. Unfortunately, not always profitable either. Should I continue with interest targeting? Yes. If these things are not working, you continue with interest targeting, then you try again. It's not working, interest, then again and again and again, and you try. The ultimate goal for each account is to reach to the point that you're going to do broad targeting and it's going to be working. Plus, worth it for me. Currently, I'm happy that I already have daily results, but now is that at least some days a week, I end up profitable. Having consistency and consistent sales, it means that you're moving to the right direction. That means that you're training your pixel. You're trying to find the numbers that are going to make you profitable, because sometimes they're not only related with Facebook, but they're also related with your store, landing pages, average order value, and all of that. So you know that something is selling, but you know that the numbers don't make sense for Facebook. Maybe they will never make sense for Facebook for what you're trying to do and advertise on Facebook. Maybe it's a very cheap product. Maybe you don't have good average order value. But still, you need to keep trying to improve your numbers in order to make it profitable. But having consistency is very important, because it means that your pixel understands the product, you're having sales, you just don't have the right numbers yet. And in my opinion, you should be working with your numbers as a company instead of waiting your pixel to become good so that you can have better profits because you're having less cost per purchase. Next one. My ads budget keeps spending and the ads sets are still in the learning phase. What's the solution? What do you think about minimizing the daily budget of the campaign to $5, that after the learning phase I will let it be 50? So, learning phase. The learning phase, as we said, is when you have 50 events of the event that you're optimizing for. If you're optimizing for checkouts, if you're optimizing for purchases, 50 events based on the attribution setting that you put on your ad set level, which most of the times we expect you to use 7 days, 1 day click. So in the last 7 days, you need 50 events. If you lower the budget, you're not going to get out of the learning phase. You will never get out of the learning phase. Also, with $50, you will never get out of the learning phase. It means that you need $1 cost per purchase. In 1 day. In 7 days, it means that you need $7 cost per purchase, okay? Or maybe I'm doing something wrong. So 7 come on, 7 multiplied it with 50. I will never do it. 7 multiplied with 50, that's 350, divide it with 50 sales. Yeah, $7. You need $7 or euros cost per purchase in order for you in the last 7 days, in order for you to get past the learning phase, in theory, with your $50 budget. So I find it a little bit difficult also. So should you be afraid though of learning phase? Because if that was the case, all the accounts that are spending $100 or $200, they would never be profitable. You should not be fixated with the learning phase. I have a video about that. About the learning phase and how it's working and why you should not be worrying about the learning phase, because I have seen other accounts that they have learning limited, they have never passing the learning phase and so on, that they have zero issues. And you should not be worrying about that, because at this point with your budget you should not be worried about the learning phase. It's something that we look on other accounts that they spend much more money. Right now you can even be profitable with $50 or $100 per day or $200 per day without never passing the learning phase and your ads. If that was the case, I wouldn't find the crazy method, because in the crazy method we are not trying to pass the learning phase. It's not a consolidation method. Anyway, watch my videos, educate more yourself about that. It's 48-hour ads run and zero sales. What did you recommend I do? All things good, the website, you don't know that. If you're not selling, you cannot say that the website and the creatives are good just because you like them. Apparently here you have a problem. It's a review of a lot of experts. It doesn't mean anything. There are people that you're paying and they can tell you that they like them, but it doesn't mean anything. Even if an expert says that creatives are good, if you test them and they don't work and they don't have sales, they're not good. But also the impression of my creatives is very low, maybe because my strategy has 4 assets and in each one 5 creatives with 50 daily budget. Yeah, I think that it's a very big segmentation of your budget. It's just 60 clicks. What did you recommend for my situation? Basically, your question is for me to tell you how to have a profitable e-commerce store without knowing any data and stuff and just find a solution for you. It's impossible. I think you need to start testing other creatives, other landing pages, testing your numbers and stuff. If you're having zero sales, the problem is much more deeper than discussing, okay, run 2 ad sets instead of 4 and it's going to be solved. No, it's not going to. Next one. Okay, that's great. What about the audience target, the one ad set in the campaign? So the new strategy will be one campaign, one ad set, all the creatives, the budget will send it the ad set level, right? Yeah, you can do consolidation and you can start seeing if you can have sales like this by just testing different creatives and concentrating all of your budget so that you will be sure that you have tested everything efficiently. In my 48-hour ads run, I had 3 interests and 2 work well. Yeah. If it's just like this, I will turn off the ads, remove all the ads and just one with all the creatives. Did you recommend putting these 2 interests in one ad set? I do ask him here, tell me why do you consider these interests that they are good, okay? And he doesn't answer to my next comment. He says, and I also tell him about what he says, that you should not just turn the 2 ad sets and just put all the budget to one ad set that is already been running and just change things and then start the campaign all over again with this structure of one ad set instead of doing that. But if I do a new campaign, I should wait more in the learning phase. You will never pass the learning phase. We said that. So the one ad set will be broad or with a lot of interest. And I do tell him here that if you don't reply to my question, why do you believe that these 2 interests are good since you had 0 sales, I'm not going to reply to your question. And he says, I'm sorry, I guess you said this just like info. The 2 interests I said are good because they have the best CPM and most clicks and the cheapest. And this is where the whole discussion starts, and this is the reason that I put that. So here we have a person that obviously he's inexperienced. He's new to my channel also, I believe. But with all the love, let's address some things over here. First of all, you're saying that some interests are good because of CPM, and interests are good if they have sales. Then you don't have any sales and you think that your creatives and your landing pages and your product is good. You don't know that, because if you don't have sales, you cannot say things like that. So I think that the problem here is deeper. The problem here is that you need to understand that you need to test. And when you have good results, then you can say that when you have sales that these interests are working. When you have sales, you can say that these creatives are working and this product is working, and so on and so on. So I think, my friend, you have a lot of work to do in terms of testing in order for you to be able to say that things are working, because apparently now nothing is working. Next one. I think my pixel needs help. Please let me know if you think a new pixel will help or a newer account. I don't actually know. So this is a very typical message that you get from people that they have another account which is not working. For example, you have another account working for 2-3 months, then it dies, and then immediately you start to enter the paranoia starts, and you start thinking that your pixel got untrained and it got lost and you have to use another account because this other account is good. Let me tell you the sad truth. If you have some good results for 3 months and for some days you don't have good results, or for a month you don't have good results, the results, even if you close your ads and you try this and this and this and this and this and this and this, if the general situation with the ads is bad, the problem is that your ad account is going to work when it's going to work for everyone else. What is happening with Facebook? In Facebook, we have the extremely good accounts, which is companies that they have a very good model, very good numbers, and very good average order value and all of that, and they advertise, and they're extremely profitable. So these companies, even on bad periods, they're just going to have less profits. But we have also people that they're just between profit and between loss. And these are the people that they are just advertising. Some months are going to be good, some months are going to be bad. But why? Because Facebook is like a market, okay? So more people they come to advertise inside, we have very bad results. less people are advertising, we have good results. So every once in a while we have a correction in the market. So a lot of people come, some they are losing money, so they leave. So the CPMs are dropping, so some other people they are being able to make a profit. Now, if you are between this, between loss and win all the time, and you're just near the limit of the market, some months are going to be bad, some months are going to be good, and you can do nothing about it because it has nothing to do with the way that you do ads. It has to do with the CPMs and how many people they advertise on that period. Does this mean that you should stop trying? No, it doesn't mean that. But it means that you have to accept your faith and you have to understand that, okay, let me lower the budget, for example, in that period. Let me stay low until I get the sign that I can scale again. Not just closing and just saying crazy things like changing your ad account, adding new pixels and stuff, and all of these kind of things. Now that we solved it, let's go to the last question for today and for this podcast that says, Liam here with a very big mistake, which is what I explained earlier. Thank you so much for the content. My ads were profitable for months. $7 per conversion, running 2 campaigns, one for UK and USA, ABO and abroad. I'm not going to criticize the fact that you're running ABO because it was working for you, so good for you. Lookalike and interest for it. By the way, if I would come into your ad account, okay, I will try a CBO, but I will not close your ads because they're working. On August 11th, results fell off a cliff from 13 to 30 pounds and didn't recover, not profitable. I tried different creative tests and did not help. As a few days back, I changed to CBO, same structure. It is in learning, but my cost per conversion is extremely high, 15 to 80. How do I make this all recover? Why is this learning so expensive? My break even is on $10. As a small business, we're spending £500 on these days and it's starting to really negatively impact us. Should I stick back to ABO, duplicate and change the duplicate to CBO? Thank you in advance. Now, the sad truth is this. And I told him that in a sad way. At least he liked the honesty and he appreciated it. So the sad truth is that you are inexperienced and you are going to pay this mistake a lot. Why? I have a video. It's called How to Overcome a Difficult Period in an Ad Account, where I'm showing that when you have $500, by the way, it's a decent amount of spend. Okay, when you're spending $500 per day, you are having a certain scale, and of course your average cost per purchase that you're asking is very low, but you were getting it. So we're not going to criticize this, we're going to say that your model is working. And what you have done is that, or maybe you are one of these that you are between profit and losses, as we explained before in the market. But the biggest mistake here is that you were not patient enough. So the moment you have seen results dropping and stuff, you started changing them. A lot of times when you see bad results, you have to be patient for 1 week, 2 weeks for it to recover. Soak the downwards on that period, but don't close your ads that you have built all of this period, because these ads, they have been optimized with the CPMs of a different period, not the period that you are running now. Now, when you're starting new ads, they are starting with the CPMs of the current ads. And if the results are bad in the previous ads, imagine how much more worse they're going to be in the new ads that they have zero data. So what you're doing when you're running ads for a very long period, if you're having very bad results, you don't panic. You just wait. If this situation continues for 1 month or so, okay, you can start doing the changes and stuff. But if it's 5-10 days and you close your ads, I find this a very bad move, because most of the times I can tell you, like 90% of the cases, the ads are recovering after a period. Also, another thing that you could do is something that I explained in this video. You could do a promo. You could do a promo that's going to inflate your results within Facebook, not just so that you can be happy, but so in order for you to pull data from all of your core audience, get them to buy something with an offer that you're going to do. These people are going to buy, and this data is going to fuel your ads so that they can find new customers. That being said, closing your ads like this and starting something new, it's very bad, okay? And you should not do it. Secondly, having a structure like this with 2 campaigns and not having a lot of campaigns that you can be able to actually manage and be able to overcome a situation like this, it's also problematic. Yes, it's going to take you a lot of time to build an account like this, but in the case studies that I'm preparing for September, which is 1 year case studies, I'm going to show you how strong accounts with a lot of campaigns are and how they are not being influenced from anything. Okay, I don't want to say big words, but because Facebook is Facebook and it can kill them in 1 week if it wants, but you get my point. Now, whatever you are going to try here and there, it's going to work now when it's going to work for the others which are in the same situation as you, as the market is going to start being fixed more and more while people are leaving. But I doubt it, because right now there are more people entering the market because they're preparing themselves for Black Friday. Also, doing something from ABO which was working, going to CBO just because you have seen my videos or somebody else's videos, it doesn't make any sense. You should go back to what it was working and try to do it again so that you can replicate it. Start it with smaller budgets. Try to see if you can go back again to that. In other ways, that's a huge mistake that you have done, that you have closed your ads of working for months just for 10 bad days. You should have waited or lower your budgets or do stuff like that. You don't just close campaigns that you have for months just like this, losing them. Sadly, this is a very expensive lesson that you're going to learn over here, Liam. But it's all good. Every lesson that we learn brings us closer to the success. That's all of your questions. One, freelancer diary. I told you that I'm not going to put more, but I found 4 or 5 more during the vacation, so I'm going to. Freelancer diaries. One here says, Facebook ad specialist, please share how many hours it will take to build one Facebook ad, and then how many hours you will need to weekly maintain the ad. The reason that I put it that is because it reminded me of my previous boss when I used to work my 9-to-5 job, as a lot of other people. I have started already making money with my things in freelancing and everything, just like making 10 times the money he was giving me. But at that point, I was feeling that his job was the secure one and the other one that I was doing was not the secure. Anyway, even if in 1 month I was making the money that he was giving me for a whole year. Anyway, it's the mentality that sometimes you need to change. And a lot of times what he was doing, he was saying, okay, I want you to pass this on an Excel worksheet. These are 5,000 names that you will have to pass. Pass one, just so that you can see. I was passing one name and he was saying, okay, it took you 3 seconds, so 5,000 multiplied with 3 seconds. That means that I expect you to finish that in this amount of time. And one time that he has done it, I told him, hey, please close the door. I want to tell you something. I'm going to stop working for you and stuff, because I was fed up with that. By the way, I wasn't putting the name. I was just hiring someone on Fiverr for $5 to do it for me while I was doing other things in the job. Anyway, if you're watching this video, yes, I wasn't working. I was doing other things for my own business. So the thing here is that you are having people that they're just going to, if you're someone that you're doing Facebook ads, we're not getting paid by the amount of time that we put on the accounts, but we get paid for our experience. Someone like me, or someone who has experience spending 100 million or more, like me, in across ad accounts and all of that, it's not going to get paid by the hour that he's putting in an account. We're not VAs, we're experts. So you cannot just say, how long does it take you to build a Facebook campaign? How long do you need? I'm going to pay you by the hour. You're not going to pay him like this, because maybe I'm going to go into another account and I'm going to just close one ad set, another ad set, another ad set. It's going to take me 30 seconds. But all of this knowledge is coming from me working in other accounts for years. You cannot evaluate that, okay? It's when you do something like this, it's like you're punishing them for being experts, okay? So if you're a Facebook ads expert and people want to pay you by the hour and you're good, okay, you know what you're talking about and you have experience and stuff, don't accept to get paid like this, and get paid with fixed budget fees or with project or with monthly fees or whatever that may be, because we are not VAs, okay? And people need to understand that, yeah, you're not going to pay us by the hour that we work in the ad account, but we're going to get paid by the value that we bring in the ad account. That being said, guys, that's the end of the podcast. I hope that you liked it. It was pretty long, so many questions. And now we start. This is the first podcast of the second season, and I hope that we're going to have a full season. Also, I will see you on the next one. This was the Facebook Ads Breaking News Podcast. Like it or not, it is what it is.